All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go live in five, four, three, two, one, and zero. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Mindtality podcast for another episode. Today I am on the solo, as you can tell. No special guests, no co-host. Eric had to handle some things, and we wanted to just take a break in between special guests. And I promise I'll be swift. I'll be quick. So without further ado, let's get into it. The topic for today revolves around Mr. TB, Tom Brady. And for those who aren't into sports and they're probably like, oh, time to turn it off. I'm not into sports. Just hear me out really quick because I'm going to use him as like a transitioning point. Okay. So I'm not going to be talking about him the whole time, just this first minute or two. And then we'll start getting into some knowledge. You are now listening to the Mindtality podcast. But really quick, I get asked a lot whenever my podcast comes up, like at work. I get asked a lot, like, what's it about? And I just tell them it's about positivity. It's about your mind, your mindset. It's about your mentality. And honestly, you guys, it's about going into your week with a positive mindset, going into a situation with the right mentality, the right mindset, constantly thinking positive. My goal is to really build your guys' attitude up. I was watching a YouTube video, and it was an employer who had a new hire, and basically employers, like the bosses, typically do the paperwork. They do the financing, all that good stuff. So they're never out in the field, right? They're never working hands-on. Again, not because they don't want to, but because they've superseded that time of that season. Like they've surpassed it. They've put in their time, and now it's time for the new people to come in, right? So anyways, whenever this employer gets an opportunity to go into the field and work hands-on, she takes advantage of it. Anyways, she was super happy that she was getting a new hire, like I said, because she likes to kind of evaluate them. She likes to work with them. You know, she doesn't try to pick them off like, oh, you're not doing this right, but more in the sense of like, she has like a curiosity to see like every new hire, how they differentiate. So in this case, she said something that blew my mind. And she said that she told him that she wanted him to ask for help when he needed it. She didn't want him guessing. So she's like, don't feel embarrassed. If you need help, ask. Like, that's why I'm here. And after that's the only like tip she gave him. And then when she was like talking one-on-one with the interviewer, she said that she's looking for two things. One, she's looking to attention to detail. So I'm thinking, as an employee, my manager is looking for me to be like quick to notice small details. So to me, I was like, okay, I need to work on that. And then the second thing that she said is, the first thing that she wanted to see with the new hire is this new hire naturally good at detail? Like, are they really good at finding the small things? The second thing was she was interested in the attitude of this new hire. She said that she could teach the system, she could teach the rules, but what she can't teach is a positive attitude. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be about. It's about developing, teaching, and showing what a positive attitude looks like, and how to have a positive attitude going into your week. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so off that tangent right there, I wanted to talk about Mr. TB, Tom Brady. Congratulations on number 7, yada, yada, yada. But what I really wanted to, and I told you I was only going to give him a minute or two. But what I really wanted to talk about is the fact that he has the most Super Bowls in NFL history. As one player, he has 7, and the most any team has is 6. So that's really impressive. But what's even more impressive to me is the fact that Tom Brady went 10 years as an NFL quarterback without winning anything. And to me, that's most impressive because I feel like you're not measured on how good and skilled you are until your failure hits, you know what I'm saying, until you're tested. And for 10 years of Tom Brady's career, he was putting up zeros. Every year he was going home early because he didn't make it to the Super Bowl. He was watching it on his couch like what 30 other teams were doing. So for 10 years of his career, like really think about that. 10 whole years from '05 into 2015. He went 10 years without winning anything. And that is what impresses me the most. That to me is what defines him as being a successful quarterback. And that's actually the topic for today is consistency. So I'm gonna go over a couple points. I'm gonna go over 3 points today. The first one being how to stay consistent. And if you see me looking down here, for those who are watching on YouTube, I just have my phone here with the notes. So the first point is here how to stay consistent, and I have two points for that one. And the first one is you need to have some type of formula. So whatever it may be, if you're car detailing, if you make music, if you make YouTube videos like me, the way you stay consistent is you have to have a type of formula. You have to have a typical time to record, a set time to, it's like a pattern. So like record right after you edit, and then you post on social media, and then you're done. Or let's say you record on Monday, you edit Wednesday, and you post on Friday. You have to have some type of formula to it. Okay, really simple. Have a type of formula. Same thing if you work out. You have to have some type of formula. You wake up at 6, you head to the gym at 6:30, you lift weights till 7:30, you shower, then you go to work. There's a formula to it. That's the key to consistency is number 1, formula. Point number 2 for how to stay consistent is routine. And it's very similar to formula. You need to have a routine. But on this point, I want to focus more on the fact that you have to organize your life around your hobby or whatever it is, your career. You have to um, create a routine. So, and it's non-negotiable too. So, like let's say every Monday you go to the gym at 7. Only once a week you go to the gym at 7. And let's say Sunday, um, your friend wants you to do an all-nighter, and you understand that if you do an all-nighter, you won't have the strength to go lift weights the next day, which is the only day you lift weights, and that's on Monday. So because you have this routine, you understand that that can happen. Like, oh, you're automatic. You're gonna say, I have to pass on that, brother. I have to go to the gym tomorrow. I only have 1 day a week to go to the gym, and it's non-negotiable. So boom, routine. You have to schedule around it. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say he asks you Sunday night, you say we can do next Saturday going into Sunday, but not Sunday going into Monday. You know, you work around it. So routine. So point number 1, formula. You have to have a consistent pattern on how you do it. Process is it. Record Monday, edit Wednesday, post Friday. That's your formula. And routine. Every time on this day you do it at this time, and then you schedule school, work, family around it just for that small period of time, that hour or two that it takes for you to either work out, to record a video, to read a book, whatever it may be. All right. So the second thing here is like, what's the purpose of staying consistent? And the first point that I have for the purpose of staying consistent is to show yourself that you're serious. And you're not only showing yourself that you're serious, but you're showing others that you're serious. A lot of times, when you push for consistency, you want results. In order to get results, you need to have that intensity, and that's the key to succeeding. That's the key to being consistent, is having like this intensity. So, and in order to be intense, you need to be serious. You can't waver. as much as you would want to. I just off the top of my head, I think about people who lift weights and who want to gain muscle. They can't waver with their diet. They can't burn 150 calories on the treadmill and then lift weights for 45 minutes and then go to McDonald's right after, or go to Burger King, or eat 5 slices of pizza right after. That's wavering. um so the purpose of staying consistent, again, point number one, is showing uh others and yourself, most importantly, that you're serious about what you're doing. The second point here is, the purpose of staying consistent is you're telling yourself that you want more, you want to grow. Okay. And that one's pretty straightforward. There's no real example to it, but that's the purpose of being consistent, is that you're wanting more. You're at this point in your life where you just want to grow. You're tired of going 2 steps forward, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You want more. So that's what consistency is. All right. That's the purpose of consistency. And then lastly, right here is the rewards of consistency. Like what are some rewards that you can get for being consistent? And before I jump into these last 2 points, I just want to emphasize that when you're consistent in something, 9 times out of 10, you're the only person that's going to be believing in what you're consistent in. Like, if it's uploading videos, if it's making music, if it's lifting weights, if it's promoting cupcakes online, if it's promoting your own brand like t-shirts, whatever, consistency is key. And you have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest believer, and you can't waver. When you start wavering on your diet, on your uploads, on your routine, you're hurting yourself, because again, you have to be your biggest believer. And the way you do that is you have to keep that level of intensity. You have to have that level of seriousness every single day. And, we talked about the purpose of it. It's because you want to grow. You want to show others that you're serious. All right, so let's jump into the last. I actually have 3 points for rewards of being consistent. The first one here is you can't buy experience. So by being consistent, you develop experience. What's the most convenient route to go about it. For me, I'm starting to learn, the more I upload videos, I'm starting to learn the fastest way to edit a video, like what I could do to kind of save some time. And the only way I learned that is through experience. So you can't buy experience. So that's number one for reward of being consistent. Point number two for rewards of being consistent is that you begin to separate yourself. Um, I know a lot of times in music, in YouTube, whatever it may be, especially like bakery. I was talking to my fiance when we were driving down downtown Redlands, and I think a brand new bakery shop opened. And I told her, like, that's one of the things I could never do, because it's just discouraging to me how much bakery stores there are, I'm sorry. And to me, I'm like, no way, like that's too much competition. But the question is like, well, how do you separate yourself? And again, it's consistency. And when you are consistent, like let's say I open a bakery store, one of the first things I have to do is I have to upload a daily photo of a sale that's going on, of a product that I'm selling, like the product of the day. I'm constantly trying to craft new recipes, new designs, new styles. I'm passing out flyers. I'm being consistent. I'm trying to, again, point number two of rewarding yourself from consistency is separating yourself. You start to really separate. You begin to create a gap between you and the person who's doing the same thing as you. And the only way you can separate yourself is through consistency. All right, and the very last point before I wrap up this podcast here, for rewards of consistency, point number three is become your own person and boss. That is the ultimate reward that you receive. And that's why it's last but very not least. It's that you become your own separate person. You become your own boss. When you're consistent, the biggest reward that you get is that you have your own routine. You have your own pattern. You have your own style. You have your own flair. No one's telling you what to do and how to do it, when to do it, and why to do it. It's you create that for you. And the goal would ideally to be is whatever that hobby or that thing that you're doing on a consistent basis, the goal to be that it actually starts making money for you, whatever it may be. If you lift weights, eventually I'm pretty sure you want to be a trainer and start training other people, getting them fit. If it's a bakery, hiring people under you to start baking for you, whatever it may be. So the goal is becoming your own person. That's the ultimate reward of being consistent, is that you become your own boss. So that's going to do it for this podcast, you guys. I kept it short. I kept it sweet. I hope these points were very helpful. Make sure you comment down below what you thought about this video, if it was helpful at all. And I do have a special guest next week. It is my very own blood. It's my brother, my older brother. He's going to be live on the podcast next week. What we're going to be talking about is he actually has been lifting weights for the past 2 years. I remember when he first asked me to start lifting weights with him, because at that time I was living with my parents, and in the garage we had weights, and he lived down the street, and he said, and he knew I was lifting weights at the time, and he said if he could join me, and I said heck yeah. And you guys, he took off from there. He never stopped, and all he's been getting is gains, and he's been really serious about his diet, protein shakes, cardio. Don't get me wrong, he still has a good time. He still eats out and stuff, but the aspect that I really wanted to touch base on him is just like the consistency. Like I'm impressed 100%. And he's lifting some heavy weight. He's not just throwing around some dumbbells. No, he's throwing around barbells with 315 pounds on it. He's squatting over 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And it's all natural. So yeah, my brother will be on the podcast to talk to you guys, to share some wisdom about weightlifting and how to get into it, things to avoid that could potentially stop you from losing your passion about lifting weights or losing weight. So yeah, I'm super excited. But make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.